Hello everyone, I'm going to talk about China problems with the protest in China that American people are very care about today. I don't know why. Uh, I have no idea why American people is care about this, but sorry. So I'm going to talk about the point of view that was given, of course, by the what the fuck? Oh, yeah, okay, fuck. I'm going to talk about protests that happens to be right now in Hong Kong, and what I'm going to talk about it's a real cause why it's happened. And after this, I will talk about about technologies and technological advancements that was between this dispute about tariffs from China and USA. So, first of all, everyone in Hong Kong against this some amendment that will allow to people to extradite people who commit crimes, serious crimes, of course. Well, anyway, you know the cause. Well, everyone in America, for some reason, are against it and support Hong Kong in this dispute between Taiwan. Let me remind you, and Hong Kong. And by protecting and supporting Hong Kong side, the people who protesting right now with American flags in Hong Kong, you literally support that man who killed and how cut to pieces a woman will go out of jail and will be free in Hong Kong. This is what you're supporting, first of all. So you support the murderer. Literally, you support that murderer will go out free out of jail. But in essence, this side is not so obvious, and it's like more or less, well, at least the man who said about it, he absolutely sure why it's happening. Yet I can say about this only there is theory from me. So there is a lot of people who in Emperor's China, well, 50 or 60 or 40 years ago, was criminals, and in that period, during that period, they sell people, they sell drugs, they murder, they steal things, etc. And once Mao came to power and start to clean up the mess and start to clean up most of all the opioid problems in China that happens to be in that period, all those people, criminals, you literally support criminals once again. Those criminals are run away into Hong Kong, which was British in that moment. So in this case, because there is no time that passed since the crimes, if such a people will be found in Hong Kong, and they will be because they live there and they were very respected people, etc., etc., those people can be extradited to China and sent to prison there. And those people who right now, who of course get a big money when they sell drugs, when they steal or they make racket, right? I don't know this word. So those people, of course, right now are forcing these protests against this. It's not about that China will be, you know, in charge and China will do everything. First of all, you literally support, in this case, a murderer, like, I don't know, Hannibal Lecter. Is it a good thing? I don't know. The second, you support people who sell drugs, who, well, criminals from the emperor's China, since, when they ran away when communists came and clean up all the mess that previous rulers made. And those people doesn't want to suffer. For God's sake, I don't know why it's happening, but for some reason Americans have this tendency to support some criminals, tyrants, despots, dictators, etc., etc., etc. And at the same time, American population say that it's the American army, American people, American democracy is fighting against tyrants, criminals, etc. While for some reason every case, if you look closer in this, every case, it seems like American population in general have tendency to support criminals. Why exactly is that happening? I don't really understand. There was the second part. Again, it's only what one man said. This is like food for your brain, nothing else. So during the period when American markets was open for Chinese goods, when China give this opportunity to American companies to produce goods cheap in China, China have this advancement. They have old technologies, right? They have old technologies, and they open the markets, because with years people have more and more money inside of China, and the market grow. So the market is growing, and many American companies, and not only American companies, of course, wanted to be a part of Chinese market, sell goods there, produce them and get the profits. It's obvious decision. But there was like when it just begins, right? China build up the technological technological basis. They have production chains, right? They have production factories, etc. Yet they doesn't have a brains, because obviously since they cut connections with USSR and start to work with USA, they lost their ability to have their people educated well. Except of course that it isn't the case yet. Still, American companies always import brains. Always, they endlessly, continuously doing this, and using, for example, India right now. So when in some period of time Chinese government start to need their own brains, they send people, Chinese people, very gifted people, they send them to USA, for example, right? But the difference in payment, in salaries, was so huge that people stayed in USA. And like people stayed in USA and work for companies like any company, for example. That doesn't matter. But Like you have, I don't know, $200 at home at the same job that you have 5,000 in United States. Of course you will stay. Why not? But with years gone, Chinese economy grows, and they can afford right now higher salaries for their own brains, and therefore with this, Chinese people, who is very much traditionalistic, let me say, they more and more start to have tendency to simply get back from America to China, because they will not lose the family connection with the country, traditions, and the stuff they like will be exactly the same, and they don't have to change their habits. For example, it's just how one man told. It's not that I know this, yet it's food for your brain. So with years, once upon a time, let's say, you cross the line when more and more brains get back to China. America, USA doing this with every country that they can get upper hand of in economical terms. They import brains. United States of America import brains. There is literally, I don't know, 1% maybe of people who really are American, who invent stuff inside of United States, etc. Like, I don't know the real numbers, but your education is not so good, let me say. Well, he contradicts himself because he said that Chinese still send people in United States to learn something, yet he said that there is not enough teachers to learn something. So it's more like it was the cross point, and since then something changed or not, I don't know. So in essence, what is happening right now, that China simply have the upper hand in terms of, how it says, I forgot this word. China get upper hand in competitive market. I don't know is it true or not, but yet look at who create 5G network. It was Chinese, mostly Chinese and Koreans. And so we have this situation where China pretty much no more need United States as its I don't understand why exactly there's a problem with tariffs, but because I didn't listen to the end, or I will forget about it. So in essence, you got this situation where you have lower and lower standards of education in United States, and in the same time China is pumping up brains like from every single corner of the country, and teach the brains for free, teach the scientists, teach the IT specialists and technological specialists, and do it in the scale of the country. So in general, this whole trade war, it's not about that Chinese somehow are bad, or they like I don't know what, spying on us. No, it's about that we American companies, we are American rich dudes, we losing. We simply losing. We have less and less brains that come into America for American dream, for to work for American companies, and we cannot reproduce these people inside of USA for some reason. I don't know why. And therefore, what we need right now, when we lost competition, when we lost in free market to Chinese, what should we do as American rich dudes, companies, corporations? Easy. We need protection. Yet there is a little problem. When you paying $2 a day, or I don't know, $10 a day, let's say $10 a day, you paying for worker, and then you ship it, and then you produce it, like, right? And when you paying $15 an hour for the same job, how do you think price should rise? Twice or 20 times? Even if you exclude the shipment at the ships from China, how many times will prices rise? How do you think? Is it a good thing, the war with China, for you as consumer in the United States? I'm not so sure about it. Of course, protectionism is a normal thing for every country. I don't say that it's somehow bad thing or good thing. It really doesn't matter. It's what the country should do to protect their own production chain. Yet in capitalistic system right now in America, in current state of mind of America, I should say, you can't simply just produce everything inside of United States. It will be too expensive, way too expensive, and you can't gain such profits from anywhere else, because, well, you can of course, like, sell stuff in the same China, but produce it in China and sell in China. You can, and gain profits. Then why the hell do you need American production or American office or American something? What's the point to have it if you can sell the same amount or even more in China and have some, I don't know, so office inside of some offshore zone and pay less taxes? What is the point? To support Americans? Come on, it's ridiculous. It just sounds ridiculous. You must understand that there is a bit of a problem that you have right now. First of all, you so brainwashed that I can simply believe it, that people can be that much brainwashed. On the other side, or on the each side, either side, I should say. You so brainwashed on the either side of political spectrum that you cannot understand the reality of what is going on. The same situation about Venezuela, the same situation about Canada, Mexico, the same situation with Iraq, Iran, Afghanistan, Vietnam, Korea, I don't know, Libya, what the big Panama, Colombia, for example. Whoever invaded Colombia, when you absolutely 100% sure that there where the drugs come from, the war on drugs, right? Invade Colombia. Why you don't invade Colombia? Why America never invade Colombia? Interesting question, isn't it? And yet you invade anywhere else in the world. Why? Why? And there was another, let's say, side story about how American government work with different other governments. American government, if they have base, army base, navy base, how do you call it? Well, military base. If if you say have American military base inside another country, you cannot judge people inside of your country. You should give extradite or give those people to bases. Is it true or not? I don't know, but it sounds very realistic. Yet you have to give those people to base and they will be simply sent back to home, no matter what they done. If they kill someone, rape someone, I don't know, steal something, it doesn't matter. And this mentality, when we have nothing to, like we can do anything that we like in country where our military base is, it's a bad idea, first of all. Second, you have to understand with this Hong Kong protests, it's not about we're so afraid of China, oh no, they will, I don't know, make a terror here. For God's sake, Chinese government work with American government for I don't know how many, 40 years already, and everything was fine. And until this moment, everything was fine. And even so, in 2047, Hong Kong will be officially the back part of the China. So why? Why do you tend to support criminals? I don't understand this. What is wrong with you? Why you tend to believe in propaganda that tell you hate those guys, and you like, you know, oh yeah, those guys are bad, goddamn commies, goddamn I don't know who, liberals, goddamn conservatives, we hate you, no, we hate you. And you're fighting with each other, or you're fighting with people. You hate people that you don't know anything about. That's a very interesting concept, and you have to think about it. I guess for now, thank you. Goodbye.